Hi everybody, I hope you're well. Today is Monday and I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to do in math this week. We are going to begin geometry, and this is really sixth grade material, so you may have seen a lot of it before. My job is to teach you but not overwhelm you, so please know that I'm keeping that in mind. So here are the three sections we'll look at this week. We'll talk about area of parallelograms, and then triangles, and then finally area of trapezoids and kites. So that's kind of where we're going for this week. Just a really quick review on area and perimeter. We won't really talk about perimeter. That's something you've covered in earlier grades. But to find the area of a rectangle like this, you'd find the length and the width. So these look like 1 by 1 little squares. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. And if these are centimeters, that would be 15 centimeters squared. Just remember, area is like area rug. I think you know perimeter is the rim or the distance around, right? So you could count 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3, or you may have seen these two formulas before, adding the length and width together and doubling it, or doubling the length and doubling the width. In any case, the perimeter here is 16. If you have a shape that looks like this, it's not a rectangle. To find the area, I think you can see you can just count the green squares and get 6 centimeters squared. And to find perimeter, you could start in one place and just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here's a rectangle, and you found the area before, length times width, or you could call it base times height. Base and height are perpendicular, which means they make a right angle. And here's the symbol for perpendicular. So if you know how to find the area of a rectangle, which you've done before, you could also find the area of a parallelogram. So here's our rectangle, and if we move this triangle, you can see it's a parallelogram. So that would be base times height, just as though it was a rectangle. So if we look here, the base is 3 and the height's 2. The area is 6 centimeters squared. Here's what's in the book. It just tells you the formula. Area is base times height. So in this case, it would be 3 times 3, which is 9 centimeters squared, or units squared. And I'm going to show you triangles as well, because I think you've probably seen these. Here is a parallelogram. We know to find the area it would be base times height. So if we took a bar here and cut it into two triangles, and we want to find the area of just this triangle right here, I think you can see it would be base times height divided by 2. Similarly, if you have a rectangle and you cut it in half, right, you'll take base times height, and then to find the area of one triangle would be base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 of that. So you've probably seen these formulas before. So here's our example. Here's our base is 10 and our height is 4, so 10 times 4 is 40, divided by 2 is 20 centimeters squared. Or you could say half of base times height, so half of base, that's 5, times 4 is 20, same thing. So here our base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and our height is 5, so 7 times 5 is 35, divided by 2 is 17.5. Here are some for you to try. You can pause the video and solve them, and then come back and I'll show you the answers. Okay, you really paused the video, right? So here are the answers. So here is the first one, 12 times 4 divided by 2. The trick here is just don't get confused and use 5 or 9. You don't need those numbers to find area. This one, 5 times 3 divided by 2, or 7.5 centimeters squared. Here's a parallelogram, so it's just base times height, 6 times 2. And on this one, this is actually a trapezoid. It has one set of parallel sides. The way to do it here is just by decomposing, which means cutting it into parts. So now we have a triangle and we have a rectangle. So if you take a look at that, then you can see the area would be 16.5 centimeters squared. And lastly, every day we'll do a little review. So today there'll be a quizzes that's